Hello everyone. Today we'll be studying the very basic topic of biology, which is the cell. So we'll be taking up the introduction of cell today. So what is a cell? As we all know that a cell is the basic structural and functional unit of a living thing, which means that anything that is living will definitely have a cell, and a collection of cells is called as the tissues. The term cell was coined by a scientist named Robert Hooke. Now, this cell, what are the major functions of this cell? What does this cell do? The cell will provide structure and support. It will provide structure and support to an organism. It will help in the growth of an organism because it helps in the metabolization. It helps in transport of various finished products like the proteins or other nutrients in the body of the organism. It also helps in production of energy and so on. It has many functions. The cell can be classified into different types. Now, what are the different types? What are the different classifications of a cell? A cell can either be a prokaryotic cell or it can be a eukaryotic cell. Now, what is a prokaryotic cell? The prokaryotic cells are the ancient cells or the cells that did not evolve. So that is the reason why these cells are found only in lower organisms like the bacteria. Whereas the eukaryotic cells are found in the most evolved organisms like humans, in animals, in plants, in fungi. But the major classification of eukaryotic cells is that these can either be an animal cell or a plant cell. In this class, we'll be only taking up the differences and similarities between a prokaryotic and a eukaryotic cell. In the next class, we'll be discussing about animal cell and plant cell. Now, I would like to give you a very brief introduction of the structure of a cell. A cell is usually oval in shape, and every cell will have a nucleus. If it's a prokaryotic cell, it will have a nucleoid. If it's a eukaryotic cell, it will have a nucleus. So the cell has basically three parts. The first part is a plasma membrane. The first part is the plasma membrane. The second part is the cytoplasm. And the third part is the nucleus. These are the three parts that each and every cell will have. Now, based upon this thing, let's study the structure of a prokaryotic cell first. Now, what is a prokaryotic cell? Now, we know that a prokaryotic cell is the basic cell, a basic cell which did not evolve at all, which is present in the lower organisms like the bacteria. So this is how a prokaryotic cell looks like. Now, as I already told you that a prokaryotic cell will not have a nucleus, it will have a nucleoid which has a random scattered DNA. A prokaryotic cell will have a plasma membrane. A plasma membrane will help in providing the structure to the cell. The cell wall also provides protection and rigidity to the cell. Now, in prokaryotic cell, we have an outer capsule that is made up of NAM, N-acetylmuramic acid. We have pilus in a prokaryotic cell. Pilus is usually a smaller extension that protrudes out from the body of the prokaryotic cells. It usually helps in reproduction. Cytoplasm is the basic matrix which is present in prokaryotes as well as in the eukaryotes. It provides a basal matrix in which all the organelles will be embedded. Ribosomes are the protein factories in prokaryotes as well as in eukaryotes. The only difference is that in prokaryotes we have 70S ribosomes. In eukaryotes we'll have 80S ribosomes. Now, what is the difference between 70S and 80S? It will be taken up in detail when we study ribosomes. The last part is the flagellum. What is this entire part? This is the flagellum. It will help in providing motility and locomotion to the prokaryotic cell. So this is the basic cell, this is the basic structure of a prokaryotic cell, and the prokaryotic cell is found in lower organisms like the bacterium. Then we have the evolved cell. Now, what is the evolved cell? The evolved cell is the eukaryotic cell. So here you can see eukaryotic cell. So we can see that there is a marginal difference between the structure of a prokaryote and a eukaryotic cell. Here we can see that the eukaryotic cell will have a very prominent nucleus, and inside this nucleus we have many structures, but the most important one being the DNA, which provides genetic material from one generation to another. Now, the similarity is that both of them have ribosomes, but ribosomes here in eukaryotes will be ATS, which are the evolved version of ribosomes. These also help in manufacturing of the proteins. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. What does it do? Rough endoplasmic reticulum will have some ribosomes associated with it. It will provide surface area as well as it helps in the maturation of proteins. Nucleolus is the largest organelle which is present in the nucleus. Chromatin material is the genetic carrier. Lysosomes are called as the suicidal bags of the cell. Their main function is that they will collect all the toxic materials inside the cell, and they will help the cell in getting rid of it. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in providing surface area. The nuclear envelope packs all the genetic material inside it. The centrioles help in providing the structural stability to the cell. The Golgi apparatus are a kind of structure that are a sac-like structure, a stack of bags. Mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cell. And last one being the plasma membrane, most important part. The plasma membrane is the membrane which provides the a structural motility, a structural function to the cell. Then we have now, what are the differences between a eukaryotic and a prokaryotic cell? A eukaryotic cell will have nucleus which is membrane bound. Prokaryotic cell will have a randomly scattered DNA without any membrane bound organelle. So basically it does not have a proper nucleus. The nucleus the genetic material will be lying freely in nucleoid region. Eukaryotic cells are large in size as compared to prokaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells are multicellular. Prokaryotic ones are unicellular. Eukaryotic cells usually have more than one chromosomes, whereas in prokaryotic cell there is only a single chromosome in the form of a loop or plasmid. Eukaryotic cells have 80S or a large ribosome. Prokaryotic cells will have 70S and a smaller ribosome. Growth rate is slower in eukaryotes because they have very complex functions, but it is comparatively faster in prokaryotic cells because the metabolism and other things are comparatively slower in them. Organelles are membrane bound in eukaryotes, whereas those are absent in the prokaryotes. Cell wall is present in plants and fungi and eukaryotic cells, where in prokaryotic cells it is present in all of them without any exception. Plasma membrane is present in both of them, in eukaryotes as well as prokaryotes, and cytoplasm is also present in both of them. Now, the last thing is that we have already studied the differences. Now, what are the similarities between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Both of them have plasma membrane, both of them have cytoplasm, both of them have ribosomes, and both of them have DNA. Now, through all of this, we can now suggest that the main function of cell is to provide structure and support growth, transport, energy production, and metabolism for the growth of an organism. I hope everybody is clear with this part, the differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. In the next lecture, we'll be taking up the differences between a plant cell and an animal cell in detail, as well as the structure and function of all the organelles that are present inside the plant cell as well as the animal cell. If there is anything you need, any detailed information about, you can always write to us. Your feedback is most welcome. Thank you for watching the video.